I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Adrenaline in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 457 of the Hoots Podcast here on this Friday, March 21st, 2025. It's yours truly, the nefarious Brother Adam, a.k.a. Joshie Lopez, here to record another podcast for you guys as we're on the road to 500 episodes. Indeed, the final edition of the Hoots Podcast will be the 500th episode. So I appreciate y'all rocking with us as we take a part of this final chapter. And we got 43 more of these bad boys to go. So I appreciate the support, everybody. You could do a couple quick favors for me. First and foremost, hit the like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube if you're watching right now. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I think right now we're at 545 or 546. I definitely want to get one of these YouTube Play Plex before we call it a day here. But one simple subscription would mean a lot to me, and also really the best way to support this podcast is follow and stream the podcast on Spotify for those audio users. That really will help expand the reach of the show and help your boy get some compensation in return. If you like, if you follow me on X, if you like, at the Hoots Podcast, I'm on Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. Please check out my transcriptions on WrestlingHeadlines.com in the results section, and my own website, ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. We drop this podcast each and every single week, free of charge. I'd love to hear from you guys. You can always participate in our Back Porch Q&A sessions. Those can be directed at thehootspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to be an advertiser or sponsor for the Hoots Podcast, hit us up at thehootspodcast@gmail.com. On this week's episode, we got a lot to talk about. It was a big week of wrestling in Belgium, Brussels, Barcelona, Spain for SmackDown last week. Tonight, well, I know that they'll be taping during the afternoon, but I don't have the international version of Netflix. So I won't be covering SmackDown live until tonight, later on USA Network. So I'll be doing that from Bologna, Italy. So that's going on tonight, and then I think they're in Scotland on Monday for Raw, and they wrap it up in the UK the following week. It's just a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of TV shows in Europe. It's been a busy couple of weeks for your boy during WrestleMania season, and I'm having fun with it. So we got to talk about that. We got to talk about John Cena's first promo as a bad guy. A lot of pontifications, and I got to start off with this because I don't want to have this drag into This Week in WWE segment. I just want to get this out of the way first and foremost. This was a really, really, really bad week for people in the IWC, and picking their time to stick their chests out and blur out some of the most pathetic, nonsensical, mindless takes I've seen in quite some time. I know there's always people in spectrums of different audiences that always have to be that guy that has to shit on something that's universally praised because he wants the attention and he has to be that guy. I will always, my prerequisite and precursor when it comes to doing these shows is I will always tell anybody, I'm never going to come in here and tell you that my opinion is better than yours or you're not entitled to your own opinion. I don't think because I covered the business for a career in the industry, it doesn't make my opinion better than yours. at the same time, when I see stupid takes for the sake of trying to get attention or trying to be that guy, or, you know, I'm going to shit on a segment because I'm an AEW guy, but I'm on a podcast, so I'm going to just poo-poo over the entire thing. You know, if that same promo and dialect was on AEW, you'd be drooling over it, or getting on your knees and getting the lotion ready. Like, this week, for the IWC and the sickos to start popping off at the mouth, and, you know, the whole back and forth about, oh, WWE is trying to do Raw by AEW by doing another European tour before Forbidden Door in London. Oh, it makes sense that Tony Khan shouldn't allow Sting to show up in the Hall of Fame for Lex Luger. Please, for myself and everybody with a spectrum of sanity and brain cells, in the words of Chris Jericho, would you please shut the hell up? AEW supermarks, sickos, whatever the fuck you want to call them, are the last people that need to start pumping up their chest right now and try to act as if AEW is on some fucking hot streak and that they're the victim and all this extra bullshit. Any criticism or onslaught or attacks that they get about their product, they brought onto themselves. Okay? I don't want to hear these fucking excuses anymore. It's not just the performance with their fucking inflated egos like Chris Jericho and Mercedes Moné and Swerve Strickland and Chris Jericho and etc. And Tony Khan, and the list goes on and on. Not only that, then we go to the Meltzers and Alvarez's of the world, and etc. crew that has access to behind-the-scenes AEW stuff, but they won't share it out to their publications because their buddy Will Washington works behind the scenes in the creative team. I think you know who I'm talking about. Then we got the other people with blue check marks. They'll come out every single week, defend every little fucking thing that they do. Any criticism or attacks that get directed towards AEW and their product, they brought it onto themselves. And this whole freaking rant that Dave LaGreca did the other day on Busted Open about, oh, if you didn't like Jon Moxley being suplexed into a fucking spike paddleboard, oh, you should stop watching AEW. Hey, Dave, newsflash, they're already tuning out as the fucking weeks go by. Okay? I don't need to watch freaking Outlaw Mud Show Wrestling to be considered, oh, serious competition. Oh, WWE scared WWE scared of AEW, hence why they're doing a European tour in August. Oh, WWE scared AEW because, oh, NXT Battlegrounds the same day as Double or Nothing. Oh, WWE scared AEW because they got a Saturday night's main event in fucking July. Give me a fucking break, man. It's fucking business. Get over it. In the 10 years that I've been doing this show, would I ever fucking throw a hissy fit because AEW was decided to throw a random fucking show on the same day as the WWE show? No. Who gives two shits whether or not WWE or AEW had the same show on the same day? Guess what, wrestling fans? That's a good thing. You get more wrestling. And if we really want to talk about competition, it's not even fucking close. Numbers, word of mouth, just overall look of the products between both of them, it's fucking night and day. It's like comparing the fucking Dodgers to... it's like comparing the Los Angeles Dodgers right now to, let's see, the fucking White Sox. That's if you want, here's a reality check right now, guys. WWE is the Dodgers, and AEW is my Chicago White Sox. But they'll tell you on X every single week and all these podcasts, oh, AEW's on a higher tier. They're on Max. They're doing so great. They're the New York Yankees. Look at all the money Tony Khan's got. Shitty product. Ratings go down as the weeks go by. Barely can beat NXT in viewership every single week. Hell, NXT has more buzz and more sustainable success ratings-wise than AEW does on their flagship show. For the sickos, I want you to open your eyes, look yourself in the mirror, and tell yourself that you are in denial. You're in denial. This whole WrestleMania season, I've been seeing random freaking AEW sickos, and I don't know. This is maybe I'm like getting like frustrated because this keeps popping up on my timeline on Twitter. I don't know why I keep getting random tweets and like soliloquies and crying from random accounts on X for people that I don't even follow, going on their freaking soliloquy about how great AEW is and how Triple H is a terrible booker and Jey Uso being the winner of the Royal Rumble is the reason why AEW is better than WWE. Like, what? Jon Moxley getting suplexed onto a freaking paddleboard filled with spikes and having it be stuck in his back is just another grade A example of why Tony Khan is inept as a wrestling owner, booker, etc., etc. It's stupid. Hell, you guys even had the match as the main event of the show. You had it at the 8 o'clock hour. Oh, my main event pay-per-view match on Revolution got shit on, so guess what? Not only am I going to double down on it and do it the following week, but I'm not even going to have that as the main event. Then I'm also going to do a stupid gory spot because Jon Moxley is incapable of having a good fucking world title reign if his fucking life depended on it. Jon Moxley, the most overrated wrestler in this past decade of professional wrestling. Guy thinks he walks around like he's fucking Minoru Suzuki, but he's not. He's a freaking cosplayer. I've been saying this since day one. He's a goddamn cosplayer. Stupid. And you're making Adam Copeland look stupid now. All this buzz for him to come to AEW. Oh, we got to super rush the feud with Christian Cage because AEW can't control themselves. They always got to drop their load anytime a WWE superstar comes in. Oh, Ricochet's in AEW. Guess what? Let's do the Will Ospreay feud 5 times already. And then guess what? You have the Christian and Edge feud end like shit because you need to insert fucking Nick Wayne's mother onto the fucking thing for a group that went absolutely nowhere to patriarchy, for Christian to lose his whatever Money to Bank thing that he won. Oh my god, man. It's been a while since I needed to get some AEW stuff off my chest because I've really been trying to keep it to myself. Like, I look at clips and stuff from Dynamite. I don't watch the shows. I watch MJF stuff here and there. I'll watch the full pay-per-views when they're on. And since I've stopped doing What the Hell is Wrong with AEW, I've really wanted to stop, just like losing my mind here on the podcast about AEW. But it's their fucking fans. It's Seltzer and Alvarez. It's Twitter. Their IWC sickos. And their product is the fucking shits, man. I'm sorry. Yes, they have great wrestlers and they have good wrestling matches. But there's no purpose to it. There's still no identity to it. And it's been 6 years since this promotion has been in existence. There's no identity. There's no leadership. The product fucking sucks. So, if you guys been waiting for a what the hell's wrong with AEW thing here on the podcast, there it is. Right there in the nutshell. When we come back, we'll get to what happened this week in WWE and talk about John Cena, the road to WrestleMania, and answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 457 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Yeet. Welcome back to the Hoots Podcast, everybody. Let's get into it. Let's talk about what happened this week in WWE. Before we get to John Cena and all of that stuff, I want to take a trip back to SmackDown this past Friday night in Barcelona. By the way, I'm also covering Evolve right now on Tubi. I've been doing that for the last 3 weeks. 3 episodes already for Evolve, which is pretty cool. These weeks keep going by so fast. But, yeah, so for those who are wondering, I cover Raw, NXT, Evolve, and SmackDown every week. That's my schedule, plus the PLEs. And it's been pretty fun. So before we get to Raw and everything with John Cena, I do want to talk about SmackDown in Barcelona because I thought it was a very good show. And I just don't want to toss this aside because it's been a week. I know it's kind of different for me that I do my podcast every Friday. And then, you know, I know this has been talked probably deaf by already, but this is how it goes here on the podcast at Hoots. So we started off with the show with the 6-man tag with LA Knight, Jimmy Uso, and Braun Strowman against Solo, Jacob, and Tama Tonga. LA Knight, Jimmy Uso, and Braun Strowman won. We had another brawl with Fatu and Strowman, leading to where tonight on SmackDown, Jacob Fatu's having his blow-off match, if you will, with Braun Strowman. You know what? I would not be surprised if Solo Sikoa turns on Jacob Fatu tonight. I'm just throwing that out there tonight. Just throwing that out there. But something's got to give here with this U.S. title picture. I know Jimmy Uso said that he wants a shot at LA Knight's championship. Is it something where LA Knight fights Jacob Fatu for the U.S. title? Does this become a ladder match? Multi-person Jones? Like, something's going to give here. I like the sit-down interview that Jade Cargill did. That Kathy Kelly did with Jade Cargill. That was good. Thought she said what she needed to say. She's fighting Liv Morgan tonight after Liv Morgan cut off her interview. So that was that. Charlotte gets B-Fab, pretty solid. Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton started to channel their inner rogueness, their like crash out seasonness on SmackDown this week, which I appreciated. Not only after-birth brawl after this match, but this brawl spilled into Miz TV last week, so I thought that was pretty funny. Drew McIntyre. He had a promo earlier tonight on Damian Priest. I said this last week, but a lot of people like to like pontificate and tell you about things that do or do not make sense because it's not lining up in their fantasy booking universe. That doesn't mean it doesn't make sense. You know, it's like if you're actually watching the product over the past years, it would make sense that Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest would fight each other at WrestleMania. This is not the first time where somebody costs another person their shot at the World Championship or the Royal Rumble, and they have a grudge feud at WrestleMania. So I that part right there just doesn't make sense to me. How you say it doesn't make sense to you? You know what I mean? Like that's what I don't get. Miz TV with Cody Rhodes, like I said, Miz was upset with, with Tiffany and Charlotte brawl, cutting him off, and then Cody taking a long time with his promo. He cuts off the entrance, and he's like, all right, I'm going to answer the hard-hitting questions right here, right now. I've already been interrupted by Tiffy time, so I got time for myself. Rhodes dropped him with a crossroads. Cody said, I don't want to talk to The Miz. I don't want to talk to anybody unless his name is John Cena. If you can find it worth your time to join us, John, on the road to WrestleMania next Monday, just know I'll be there too. Priest had a solid match with Nakamura. McIntyre attacked Priest, which caused the disqualification. Drew really messed up Priest on SmackDown. You know, the vicious stomp to the head, too. And McIntyre said he's going to promise that he's going to make Priest's life a living hell. So we got kind of like an on-site type of thing going on here with Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, and I'm here for it. So that was pretty cool. Randy Orton and Carmelo Hayes, pretty solid. Randy Orton got the victory. I was about to give Carmelo the punt and send him to the gulags, but Kevin Owens came in to save for Mr. Mello. Gunther and Axiom. This is one of my favorite matches of the week. Tremendous match. This is one of the best matches I covered for the past week. Gunther and Axiom was phenomenal. Paul Heyman did a promo promoting more of WWE 2K25 because last week was the launch day for 2K25, which was dubbed as Roman Reigns Day. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins will be confronting each other on SmackDown today in Bologna, Italy. So this could go many directions. I know Seth Rollins was announced to be a guest host on Good Morning Football, so don't expect him to be on Raw this week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he's going to be on the NFL Network, so don't expect Seth Rollins to be on Raw this Monday. So we got that, and then I like the backstage that they did with Gunther and Jimmy Uso. You know, Gunther's leaning to Jimmy because he's the older brother, telling him to tell Jay that he should reconsider coming after him in this World Heavyweight Championship. And Jimmy's like, "Nah, I'm not falling for that." The ring general will drop rank at WrestleMania, and he'll drop the World Heavyweight Championship to Jey Uso. And he says, "In Sin City, we're eating goose." And Gunther's like, he's sorry that he was mistaken about Jimmy's maturity. He really tried. Jay had a quick match with Austin Theory this week. Gunther tried to do another sneak attack on Jay on Raw, and it didn't go too well. You know, I know the sickos also out there have this freaking vendetta against Jey Uso. Shit happens. He mistimed his release for the somersault plancha to the outside, and you know it could have gone bad. You know, I know a lot of people like to make the whole top dollar joke, but you know that could cause a serious injury. You know, shit happens. Wrestlers make mistakes. You're not in that ring, so you don't have the right to tell people what they should or should not do. And, see, this is another example why Jey Uso's unworthy of the main event of WrestleMania. Like, shut the fuck up already. So, next week on Raw, not next week, but this Monday on Raw, is going to be A-Town Down Under against Jey Uso and a partner of his choosing. Can Jimmy pop up and be Jay's partner, and we get the Usos against A-Town Down Under? I would like to see that. I think that'd be cool. DIY against the Street Profits for the WWE Tag Team titles. This was the main event of SmackDown, and it was a pretty solid match. Congratulations to Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins on finally recapturing Tag Team Gold. Long overdue, and it was a nice moment. It was a conclusion of a week's long work of title changes and pretty decent main events to start off this European tour. So, a good thing to kick things off in Barcelona, Spain. I thought SmackDown was pretty solid from top to bottom. Then we go to Monday Night Raw from Brussels, Germany, and let's do it. Let's talk about the John Cena promo. I've been doing these play-by-play result articles for about 11 years now. And this is not hyperbole. This is not anything but how I feel in my heart. I haven't had this much anticipation of typing out a promo segment since CM Punk came back to the WWE in that following Raw after that Survivor Series War Games in 2023. This has been the most anticipated moment for me to transcribe not just a match, not just a pay-per-view or PLE, not even in general. Like when you talk about moments and opportunities, like I was looking forward to typing this promo and what it was going to be like just as much as I was looking forward to typing out, like the finals of the G1 Climax tournament, or like the main event of WrestleMania, or the Royal Rumble, or et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's very rare you get moments like this in time to sit there, and it's a challenge. I really wanted to make sure that I did justice by this promo, and I leave no context out there, because in moments like this, here's the thing: you can sit there and be in the moment and listen to what John Cena said, or you could be like how everybody else was on social media and on podcasts this week and let your fantasy booking dictate how you saw the segment. And again, it's 2025. It's not 2012 anymore. I still don't know why we're allowing fucking Twitter to dictate what's over or not on these shows. I don't get it. I still don't get it. But being in the moment as the guy who was covering the show live and typing down this promo, I don't know how better you can make this segment. And if your only talking point is, oh, why did John Cena didn't bring up The Rock? You don't get television. Is Cody Rhodes fighting The Rock for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania? No. He's fighting John Cena. People have been waiting 25 years for John Cena, 20 years for John Cena to have this moment, for him to lash out to fans. Time for him to speak up for himself. John Cena held nothing back. I liked how directional he was with it. I like the fact that he doubled down, the fact that he's like, I'm not changing anything for you guys. You guys are cheering for me. I'm not dressed like you idiots. I loved it. I'm not going to change who I am just because you had anticipation, because you think I'm a fucking puppet and I'm just going to do anything to appease you, to your qualms and your requests. No, it doesn't work that way. John Cena doubled down on what he made his decision, and his logic made a lot of sense. But if your only takeaway from this is that, oh, why wasn't The Rock addressed in this promo? Well, you missed the fucking points. Cody Rhodes is not fighting The Rock at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes is fighting John Cena at WrestleMania. Do you get that? Cody Rhodes is not fighting Dwayne The Rock Johnson at WrestleMania. Plus, it's episodic television. Why is, in a moment like this where people are waiting in anticipation for John Cena to cut a promo like this, your first thought is The Rock? Why would John Cena drop his entire load on this one segment? This is not AEW. They do that shit every time. Hence my point that I was saying earlier in the beginning of the show. Oh, Ricochet's in AEW. Oh, let's do Ricochet and Will Ospreay. Let's drop our load. You guys remember that, like, when Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole first popped up on AEW, and then that following week on Dynamite, it was like, oh, we got Bryan Danielson and Kenny Olivier in the first segment. Adam Cole in the match. Oh, CM Punk after, like, what, all in one fucking hour of television. You're not dropping your entire load on a monumental moment in professional wrestling history in one fucking segment. That's not how this industry works. I didn't need every bullet point reason for John Cena as to why he turned on Cody Rhodes or why he lined himself up with The Rock. Don't you think we'll probably hear something about that on Monday or the week after? You know, Cody might bring something up like that tonight. This was really powerful and really eye-opening of having the crowd at the palm of your hands, but also being booed out of the building and being told to shut the fuck up and fuck you, Cena, and, you know, John Cena pointing out the little kid in the crowd, saying it's a toxic, dysfunctional relationship. It was some real top tier shit, man. Like, I felt like I learned a lot from John Cena from this promo. And if anybody that claims to be a student of the game, you should take something positive from this promo and not use it to your fucking fancy booking idea. Cody Rhodes said what he needed to say. I'm really excited, and also the fact where Michael Cole went off on John Cena after the segment was over, I thought was fantastic. So this was a great piece of business. I was pleasured and honored to type this segment down verbatim, word for word, and I can't give it enough praise. I really can't. I can't give this segment enough praise. But at the end of the day, from a character's point of view, John Cena, you're a sack of shit. All right. Other stuff that stood out to me from Raw this week, Penta, Luka Kaiser, no holds bar match, pretty decent. Penta will be coming after the IC title. He told that to Kathy Kelly after the match. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez out in the back with Finn Balor. Finn Balor giving both ladies luck before their big matches this week on programming. Dominic still suggesting that they should get a new member. Finn calls Dominic a snake. Carlita points out that Dominic obviously doesn't watch the show. Speaking of Crash Out Seasons, we had Io Sky and Bianca Belair's contract signing. I thought this was a good segment. I kind of like the kind of chaoticness that's coming out of this Raw Women's World Championship picture. I know that this was used before with Shawn Michaels before WrestleMania 20 with Triple H and Chris Benoit, which is still one of my all-time favorite matches of all time. I know usually with logic, it doesn't make sense. He's at the country and put in the triple threat match, but they're gonna figure this out. I'm here for it. You guys know how I feel. I don't like forced triple threat matches because people on Twitter are sensitive and pushing for it. Like the whole Daniel Bryan thing with WrestleMania 30 and him at WrestleMania 37 again. Like I couldn't stand those reasons for a triple threat match. Like this one, for example, or the one that we're gonna get with CM Punk and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, I understand it. That makes sense. This here with Rhea, Io, and Bianca, that makes sense too. All the other ones, no, it don't make sense. So I'm here for it. Yes, I get it. Logically, it doesn't make sense for Rhea to sign a contract with her name that's not on it, but they'll figure this out, and I'm here for it. LWO got a victory over the Creed brothers. Pretty solid match. The stuff with Chad Gable with this luchador mask, though, it's freaking killing me. That guy's a trip. Seth Rollins cut a promo. Just more or less hyping up the Brussels crowd and saying that he will be in Italy today for the promo with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. And he's like, you know, I don't blame Roman Reigns. If I was in his position, I would do the same exact thing. But he's like, you know, I had to clean up Roman Reigns' mess again. and he's like, he calls CM Punk the luckiest loser on the face of the planet. He's like, he would have stomped his head through the mat and ended his WrestleMania dreams, and I would put his career on ice. So it's gonna get pretty interesting with Punk Rollins and Rollins and Reigns on SmackDown tonight. It's gonna be dope. Then we had the main event of Braun Breaker and Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship. I was kind of hoping that this match would be a little bit longer, but I enjoyed it for the most part. Dominic inadvertently screwed Finn for the title. Braun took advantage of that. Braun got the victory. Judgment Day started attacking Braun after the match was over. Out comes Penta to make the save, and we had this huge standoff with Braun Breaker and Penta as the show goes off the air. Braun Breaker gained the victory over Finn Balor. That was pretty dope. So I'm looking forward to it. Braun Breaker and Penta, sign me up for it. It's pretty cool. So Raw is pretty good too this week. Some good stuff from Brussels, Germany. I'm excited to see what happens with SmackDown today in Italy. I know that Jade Cargill's taking out Liv Morgan. We got the Punk Rollins Reigns segment. We got Selena Vega taking on Piper Niven as she starts inching her way to go after Chelsea Green's U.S. Championship. Also, we got Jacob Fatu against Braun Strowman. So that's what happened this week in WWE from Raw and SmackDown. Make sure to follow NXT each week. They're putting out some good stuff on the road to Stand and Deliver. And yeah, that's what happened this week in WWE. Really quick, before we wrap up this segment, I want to play this clip from Busted Open this week in regards to the John Cena and Cody Rhodes segment. Take a listen to this. I think you may get some wisdom from it. Here you go.
Anybody who thinks, I see people on social media that, it wasn't that good. It was this. Oh, he didn't say anything new. He didn't do anything. It doesn't matter. It worked. It doesn't matter if he didn't wear different clothes. It doesn't matter if he went and used an old school promo that's been done 100 times. Nothing matters except the fact that what they did mattered.
And you know what? Like, all right, if you want to say the verbiage or but it was new from him. You've never heard. I mean, here's John Cena calling the fans idiots, sons of bitches. Like this is John Cena. Hustle, loyalty, respect. The poster child for the PG era. And he's cursing at the crowd, calling out kids, pointing out children at ringside. Like, I don't care if the verbiage that he used was nothing new. It's new from him. And, you know, we talked about it yesterday. What's he going to wear? Fans were calling in. What's he going to wear? What music is he going to play? I love the fact that John Cena's like, fuck you. I'm not changing what I wear because I'm not wearing this to reflect you. You wear what I wear to reflect me. So I'm not going to change, and I'm not changing my music. That's me. The voice you hear is me. Why should I change for you? Like, I love the fact that he was like, you know what? I'm me. You don't like it? Too fucking bad. This is who I am. I love that. And he threw it back in the fans' faces. That I can't think of a promo that worked more than what John Cena did. Anybody that thinks that was garbage, then you have no idea what you're talking about. Because like Bully just said, the reaction from the crowd tells you everything you need to know. If you go to a performance and you didn't like it, but everybody else is standing on their feet applauding, giving it a standing ovation, then you're the one that didn't get it. Because the 20,000 plus that was in that arena last night got every second of that 25 minutes that started off Monday Night Raw.
In the past 60 seconds of you talking, there's one word that jumped out at me that you said that describes everything. Worked. It worked. It worked. Who gives a shit how it worked? why it worked, when it worked. It worked, period. That's the idea in wrestling. As long as it works, we can talk about psychology of a match and selling in a match and stuff like this. Last night's promo elicited a certain reaction from people. It got you to hate John Cena more. It got you to love Cody Rhodes more. It got you to respect Cody Rhodes more because Cody got kicked in the balls. And Dave, I don't know about you, but if somebody would have kicked me in the balls a couple of weeks ago, I'd still be wanting to kick him in the balls back. But Cody took it a step farther and basically said, I know you kicked me in the balls. I acknowledge you kicked me in the balls. And I should kick you back in the balls right now. But after listening to what I just listened to, I don't want to kick you in the balls anymore, John. Because you got no balls after what you just said. I'll see you at WrestleMania, bitch.
I love it, Bully.
All right. That's what happened this week in WWE. We'll come back, answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 200. Excuse me. On episode 457 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back, everybody. Yeet. All right, guys. One more segment to do here for the podcast of Hoots this week. It's time to do your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on the Hoots Podcast. All right, let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. As tradition here on the podcast, let's throw up the X. Throw up the X, ladies and gentlemen, for the good brother Chris Zaletta at XTeamZaletta24X on the Twitter machine. Let's see what Chris has for us this week. Chris says, what up, Boost? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Do you think we're getting closer to Adam and Christian's reunion? If so, do you think it'll be better than Adam's current solo run? Well, Mr. Zaletta, I'll just say that it can't get any worse. That's how I'll answer that. This run for Edge and AEW has been a flop, in my opinion. If you want my honest opinion, I think it's been a flop, and it's unfortunate. But that's what he wanted to do. With WWE currently overseas, what can crowds learn from it to improve in the U.S.? Stop walking to shows with fancy booking expectations. B, stop being a mark. 3, be a fan and actually enjoy being there, not sitting your fucking phone and sitting on your hands the entire time. We can start off with that. And also put some goddamn deodorant on too, by the way. Does Karrion Kross join the Judgment Day? I don't know why he hasn't been in the Judgment Day this entire time, honestly. I wouldn't mind it, honestly. You know, what if it's something where, you know, like Liv and Dom get the boot and Scarlett and Kross take it over? I don't know. Like, I think it's kind of overdue for Kross to be owning the Judgment Day. If anybody, if that group would fit anybody on the roster, it would be Karrion Kross. Did you watch Chris Bay's interview with Chris Van Vliet? Yes, I did. It was very good, very touching, and very emotional. I'm happy that he's in good spirits, and you know, he had an amazing story, man. It could have got really, really bad. I'm glad that he's able to walk slowly again, and whatever he wants to do for the next chapter of his life, I'm here for it. If he ever gets back in the ring, that'll be awesome, but I'm not counting on it, but it was a good interview, and if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. My guy Chris Van Vliet does the best interviews in the industry. It's not close. Chris Van Vliet is the best interviewer in the wrestling media. It's not close. Who beats LA Knight for the U.S. title? I think Carmelo Hayes. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but sooner or later, I think Carmelo will beat LA Knight for the title. Your thoughts on Melo's, speaking of Melo, your thoughts on Melo's main roster tender so far? So far, so good. I mean, I wasn't really expecting to get everything off the bat, so I really haven't had that much of a problem with him on the show, He's on TV each week. He's having matches. Is he winning all the time? No. But he's on TV, and I don't see him as a jabroni, so he's doing good stuff. Surprised there was no mention of The Rock Monday from Cena, or does more come to light before or at WrestleMania? The latter. I think you answered your own question there, brother. This WrestleMania season is teaching people that they need to have fucking patience. That's the main thing out of all that. What would your card be for Stand and Deliver? Good question. Let's do it this. We'll do Shawn Spears and Ricky Saints for the North American Championship. We'll do Cora Jade against Kalani Jordan for the Women's North American Championship. Let's do... I do think Stephanie will drop the North American title some way in between before Stand and Deliver. I could be wrong, but that's how I see it playing out. We'll do Jada Parker, Jordan Grace, and Stephanie Vancouver for the Women's Championship in a triple threat. Dark State against the Family. And then, what else we can do? We got Obafemi and Trick Williams for the IC Championship. You can put Javon Evans in there too as a triple threat if you want. Obafemi, Javon, and Trick Williams. I'm fine with that. Lexis King. Does Lexis King defend his title there? That's a good question that I'm trying to figure out myself. I think Lexis King gets... I don't think he's going to be on the show, but if you're going to do a tag time match, I'd do Fraxium against Briggs and Inamura in a ladder match. That's how I would go about it. So, those are my predictions. No. Thank you, good brother Chris, for the questions this week. As always, make sure to follow Chris on Twitter at xteens1124x on the Twitter machine. I appreciate the support, my man. All right, here we go. Final batch of questions this week comes from the good brother Mike Rubio. Yes, from Main Event Swerve. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Main Event Swerve. Says, what a boost. It's been too long. It's so long that John Cena literally turned on the audience before I came back to the back porch. But I need to take time out to send some questions more often. Life has been busy and difficult. I'm sorry I've left the show down in the way, but it's good to be back. Number one, I didn't realize that Disturbed was from Chicago. Yes. I've always been a fan, but didn't know that part. What are your thoughts on the band, and how has it made an impact on the rock landscape for 25 years? I love Disturbed. I really enjoyed their music. Stupefy and Down with the Sixes has always been one of my top heavy metal songs. They're a great band. They're from Chicago. My uncle Jeremy, my godmother Kim, her husband, his name's Jeremy, and I used to work at his tattoo shop. I forgot the name of the lead singer, but Jeremy did a tattoo and a piercing on the singer for Disturbed before. So that's a little fun story for those who don't know about that. Also, what is your take on the Chicago Bulls banners being burned in Disturbed's pyro display recently? I saw that. That's unfortunate because I can't even imagine how much retail value would come out of those Bulls championship banners from the Jordan years. I have no idea. One, let alone 6 of those. That's history. That's those banners are history. Each time I go to the United Center, I can't keep my eyes off of those. I don't know, maybe it's just that era, and I love the Last Dance, and I love those Bulls teams so much, but those are historic banners. It's a shame that they got burned. I hope they do something to fix it, but It's also a reminder that the Bulls haven't been in the NBA Finals since 1998, which is kind of sad. It's been almost 30 years. Jesus Christ, it's crazy to think about. But, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. FanDuel predicted that the Astros will win their division and the White Sox have 55 wins and stay at the bottom of the division. Which of these teams is least likely to make the prediction true? I'm going to say that the White Sox to have 55 wins. I don't think they're going to have the worst record of all time like they had last year again. I just don't see that. Are they going to make the playoffs? No. But I can see anywhere from 65-ish to 70 wins at most. I know that they're not a good team, but they're not going to be that bad again. I just don't see that happening. Speaking of the offseason moves, what do you think of the Bears' offseason for? Did they really give Caleb Williams the protection he needs, or does he need more to get done? I've liked what I've seen so far. Like shoring up the guards is very important. I think they do need to revamp some things up in the running back department, so hopefully they can settle that out through the draft, or if there's any other free agent running backs that are still out there. I think Nick Chubb is available. I would take him, honestly. As Shagenti, the guy from Iowa, Caleb Johnson, or one of the Ohio State running backs, I'm fine with that if you want to do that in the second round. But they definitely need to get a running back. I'm not... I'm excited that DJ and Rome are back, but I do think they need another standout receiver. And I don't know. I think either, they're really the main two things that I think that they need to really shore through is through the running backs and make sure they get another pass rusher. That's probably the main thing that they need to sift through. What are your thoughts on Around the Horn on ESPN? Did you watch it or ever watch it before it ever became a debate show? I used to watch it a lot when I was younger. When I was in my late elementary school years, going into high school, I used to watch it all the time. Tony Reale, Woody Page, Tim Calishaw. By the way, shout out to Courtney Cronin. Very good waterfall. I enjoyed it. It's a shame that it's being canceled, but yeah, I watched it a lot. Have you watched any unrivaled basketball in the past few months since the Pro Women's Off-Season League started? I have not, unfortunately. Also, will you be watching any UFL football this season? Probably not. I like this. This is just me personally. I just prefer to watch the NFL. That's just my thing. I barely even watch college football. I don't watch it at all. This is the thing with me when it comes to pros in college. I will not watch it. I just rather watch pros. I know that March Madness is very popular and stuff like that, but for me, I've always been indifferent towards March Madness season. And I think probably the main reason for that, especially on the college basketball side, is the fact that I don't have as much love for basketball as I used to. And secondly, they don't develop stars as much these days from the NBA as they do. The influx of new talent from college to NBA is not compared to probably how it was from the 80s and 90s. I know I'm still young, but even I can tell that the turnover rate of good college basketball players to NBA stars is very few and far between. So, I just prefer watching the pros, and that's just me. Which would you rather have, robots/computer calling balls, strikes, or the ability to have anyone pitch hit once a game without taking someone out of the game? I'll go with the robot umps. It's long overdue. I think there's too much subjectivity when it comes to deciding what's a strike or a ball when it comes to these umpires. Too much of the in-person subjectivity to it is just it's taken away from the game, so I go with the robot umps. Stephanie Van Kerr may be the best woman in NXT all-around. Is there anyone else better? Better in the ring? No, I think Jada Parker has the entire package. If you want to talk about all-around promo, presence, charisma, it factor, looks, especially looks. I've seen Jada Parker's on a higher level than Stephanie Vaquer. But as far as wrestling is concerned, it's a neck and neck tie between her and Jordan Grace. So, but not only do I think Stephanie's the best women's wrestler in NXT, outside of Charlotte Flair and Bianca, and maybe Rhea Ripley in this equation, I think Stephanie may be the best all-around, overall best wrestler in the company. So she's fantastic. Can you believe that people are calling Charlotte Flair Grandma online? She even responded with pictures, and no, that's not a fitting name. People are stupid. I've learned as the weeks go by, people are stupid, and that's just ridiculous. What do you see ultimately winning? Tiffany and Charlotte. I can see it going either way. I'm going with Tiffany to defeat Charlotte. It'll be an awesome match, but I think Tiffany will defeat Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. What did people expect from John Cena's promo? Would anything have made them happy? No, because people watch wrestling these days with their fantasy booking expectations, and then when it doesn't go their way, they say it doesn't make sense, and yeah. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Does 4 belts Monet say more about her and that accolades, or that AEW doesn't have enough people to give belts to? No, it says that Mercedes Moné is a freaking egomaniac, and she needs all these titles to make her feel better about herself since her stock has fallen since she's come to AEW. That's really all it is, if we want to be honest about it. You can give her 10 championships. It doesn't change the fact that she hasn't moved the needle for AEW since she's joined the company. Period. Number 14. If Jey Uso is to win his first singles world title, does it matter when in the WrestleMania card that takes place? No. It does not. It does not. Honestly, I would want Jey and Gunther to kick off the show because I like the situations where there's a WrestleMania match where people are either shitting on it or not giving it a chance, and you got guys walking in with chips on their shoulders. Like, I feel like Jey is walking into this WrestleMania with a chip on his shoulder, and good for him, because he's been getting a bunch of unnecessary hate since the Royal Rumble, which makes no sense because he was one of the most popular guys amongst the entire industry, but he wins the Rumble match, and now people want to find reasons to shit on him. So I wouldn't blame Jey Uso for walking into WrestleMania this year with a chip on his shoulder. Plus, I know Gunther is going to put a barn burner in WrestleMania. He's been doing that for the last 2 years. Gunther having a bad match at WrestleMania is, like, impossible. So I think Jey Uso, whether he starts the show or wins the title in the middle of the card, I don't think it really makes a difference. I mean, Daniel Bryan, not Daniel Bryan, but Kofi Kingston defeated Daniel Bryan in WrestleMania 35, and that was in the middle of the card for that WrestleMania. So, no, I don't think it really matters, honestly, Mike. But one way or another, Jey Uso will win the championship at WrestleMania. What is the... Oh, man, this is a good question. All right. What is the one thing you have done wrong that you regret or repented on most? What changes did you make to help the situation? Wow, that's a good question. Fuck, man. I think for me, the thing that I've done wrong that I regret the most is putting myself back in the position and thinking that Lauren was actually in love with me when she never was. I think that's probably it. And taking that step back to realize to not put myself in that position again, and to, like, be honest with myself. That's those are situations where you need to take a step back and look yourself in the mirror and realize what's what. You know, like I thought and I felt it in my heart that something was there, but it wasn't. I guess, you know, and you learn those things the hard way. So I think what made me help the situation was that I had to be honest with myself, and I told myself this around this time last year that I'm not going to pursue that in that light of being in a relationship unless I'm given a reason to go after it. Like I can't put myself in that space anymore. I can't do this to myself anymore, you know? Like, the pain is just too much. Like, she'll always be my best friend, but as far as, like, wanting to be with her or taking things to the next level, I just can't see myself doing that. And, like, I just can't see it doing that unless she gives me a reason to. So that's really, I wouldn't say that's the thing that I regret, because I opened my heart and I'm more than always fine with being honest with myself and, you know, being able to put myself in a position to, you know, be vulnerable and stuff like that. Like I have no regrets on that, but it's something that I will admit that I've done wrong, and I learned from the situation, and I think it's made me a better man, you know? Like, I'm standing my ground, you know? Like, I'm not going to sit here and sulk over the fact that a girl wants to mess around with a bunch of losers and douchebags. I mean, I've been dealing with this my entire life, you know? It's not affecting me as who I am at the end of the day. I love her. I always love her as a human. She is my best friend. I still care about her to this day. But when it comes to a relationship, you know, stuff like that, I don't play around with that. Like, I'm not gonna put myself to be in a position where I'm gonna be second place or whatever, you know. And if there's never anything there from her towards me in that light, then it just wasn't meant to be. You know what I mean? So, I that's the best way I could answer that question. Like, I thought about this a lot, and you know, it takes a while to process that realization sometimes, but I'm here. I'm accepting my fate, and it is what it is. But he says here, well, it's great to be back into the back porch. In any case, and I'm sorry I missed out for far too long. It's always better late than never. No, it's all good, bro. I appreciate it, man. Make sure to follow Mike on Twitter at Main Event Swerve. He's sending good questions as always, my man. Looking forward to getting more questions from you as the weeks go by, my man. I appreciate it. So I want to thank Mike and Chris for a great edition of the Back Porch Q&A session this week. And as always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. On that note, we're going to put a rib on the bow in this week's edition of the podcast at Hoots. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast, Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. Make sure to check out my wrestling play-by-play articles in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com. That is Raw, SmackDown, Evolve, and NXT every single week, plus the PLEs and Saturday night's main events. And of course, make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Best way to support the podcast is to follow and stream the podcast on Spotify each and every single week. And also, do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I love you guys. This has been episode 457 of the Hoots Podcast. It's road to 500 episodes. Continue here on the podcast at Hoots. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Enjoy SmackDown from Italy, and we'll be here to recap it all next week, right here on the Hoots Podcast. Yeah.
Bye-bye, bitch.